my thinking was that, and this is not meant as a criticism of the memorialization process, but so often what is put up is a big slab of marble or granite or something, which commemorates the event, but it seems to be more the effect it had on the society. And it occurred to me that the big picture here was that here were people with such big ideas that they didn't care about the individual lives that they were impacting. They cared so little that they would fly a plane into a building. And it occurred to me that maybe a shift of perspective to the impact on the individual, all those nearly 3,000 worlds that were lost. What I really need to do is take that picture and that story and respond to it personally and make it an individual thing, and the rest will work itself out. And indeed it did.
And what happens when the families see the portraits?
That's that's where the hair on the back of your neck stands up, because the first person to actually be there, there were some who saw them, but I wasn't there early on in the process. But the first time it actually happened, Jim called me and said, "Oh, you know, Mrs. So-and-so is here and she wants to meet you." And I almost got in my car and headed the other direction, because you talk about intimidating. I mean, what if she says, "What have you done?" You know? So, but I figured, hey, you have to face the music sooner or later, and it just couldn't have been better. Jim told me that when she walked in, she said, "That's my Lee." And again, as a portraitist, there is no higher compliment. Same thing happened when the firefighters came to the show that we had in Fairhope, Alabama. Dennis walked in and he said, "There's Joey. I pulled him out from under a 40-ton..." Sorry. I pulled him out from under a 40-ton beam. It's so far beyond the usual kind of response that you get at an art show. You know, people are interested in this, that, or the other, but this goes beyond the art. This goes right to the heart of the matter.
How do you see this tribute in the future?
I don't like to think of it in terms of its final configuration, because it is modular. It can change over time. It is sort of a living portrait in the larger sense, because many different configurations. You can take out a group of the firefighters, for example, or the Cantor-Fitzgerald casualties, which were enormous, the Pentagon casualties, the Pittsburgh crash. I think I'd like to see it have a home, but at the same time, I think it would be very interesting to be able to take this to Chicago or New Orleans or San Francisco or Rio, because it wasn't just a New York event, or it wasn't just a Washington, D.C. event or Pittsburgh event. It was a world event. I mean, I see this again and again because there are so many people from Guatemala and Honduras and England and Russia and, you know, just all over the world. Because the thing I think that it does sort of embody is that these people were yearning to breathe free, to express the individual world that we were talking about before, and they wanted to come here because you can do that here. And so I'd love to take it everywhere, have a home base, but take it to London, take it to Rio, take it, let the people see.